My name is Aideen O'Dochartaigh. I'm a Postdoctoral Research Fellow at the College of Business, University College Dublin, and the field I work in is sustainability, accounting, reporting, and corporate responsibility. So as it's the 50th anniversary of the first Earth Day, I want to tell you a story about how corporate irresponsibility has played a part in getting us where we are today, and how corporate responsibility and accountability can help us in the next 50 years to build a more sustainable future. So the story begins shortly after the first Earth Day in 1977 with the senior scientist at US oil company ExxonMobil, who gave a warning to the company that the burning of fossil fuels like oil and gas was the leading cause of climate change. Now, this was maybe 10 years before this was general public knowledge. So Exxon obviously chose to ignore the warning and continued digging up and burning fossil fuels. So unfortunately, that was not an isolated incident of corporate irresponsibility contributing to climate change. So over the last 50 years, we have seen organizations spending hundreds of millions funding climate denial, lobbying against environmental legislation, and even recently we've seen companies suing governments when they try to stop carbon-intensive fossil fuel projects. And this is added to appalling human rights abuses across global supply chains in multiple industries. So for example, in the extractive industry, which is where we get the natural resources to power our energy system, we've seen companies responsible for violence, for corruption, and for murder. So this is not about presenting you with a catalogue of corporate misdeeds. In the past 50 years, corporate responsibility and accountability has progressed hugely. And in the next 50 years, or more like the next 5 years, we can supercharge it. So how do we do that? One of the ways to do it is through the area I work in, which is sustainability, accounting, and reporting. So most people will be familiar with financial or regular accounting. Most organizations are required to produce an annual financial report, annual financial accounts. There's very strict rules around the content of these accounts. They're generally independently audited, and usually, although not always, they reflect the financial position of the organization. So sustainability accounting is a bit different. Lots of organizations have been producing sustainability reports for, say, the last 30 years or so. But apart from bits and pieces of legislation here and there, companies can put whatever they want into those sustainability reports. So while some are excellent, they do vary a huge amount. And because of this lack of standardization and legislation, it's very difficult for us, for society, to hold organizations to account for their social justice and environmental impacts. So this is something that needs to be tackled. Two ways in which I'm doing that through my research. The first is exposing and questioning and challenging the stories, the narratives that organizations present in their sustainability reports. And the second is looking at what substantive sustainability accounting and reporting might look like, and particularly looking beyond the boundaries of the individual organization to look at sustainability and accounting and reporting at supply chain or industry level, and working with organizations to do this. So for me, a more sustainable future would include, though obviously not limited to, comprehensive, mandated, substantive sustainability reporting across supply chains, with smaller organizations supported through the appropriate channels to be able to do this. And this would give us a clear accountability mechanism. And even more importantly, organizations would also be required to reduce their emissions year on year, or reduce absolute emissions, not emissions intensity, but total emissions, total greenhouse gas emissions, and also to implement good working conditions for their employees, where they pay them a fair wage and give them rights to collective bargaining, and also stop exploiting communities, suppliers, customers, and other stakeholders. And this will ensure that we can hold companies to account and make sure that they play their part in supporting a more sustainable future. So thank you for watching. This video is part of a series of expert reflections curated by Future Earth Ireland for Future Earth Week. To watch other videos or to find out more, you can check out the Future Earth Ireland website or the Future Earth Ireland Twitter.